Hey everybody, we've owned the Travato now for 3 weeks. The biggest purpose of this video is actually going to be for Winnebago because we do have some warranty repair requests because we've come across some problems and some glitches. I wanted to make a video kind of demonstrating those issues, and then I'll talk about my overall thoughts about the van after that. Okay, so this first issue actually has to do with the steering wheel, and I did mention this in my previous video, but I'm just going to go through the whole process so you can see it. So the problem is if I start the car, you cannot telescope the wheel because if you do, the engine turns off. Scope it all the way out and then try to start the car just won't start, like it doesn't turn. So right now I've got the wheel all the way in, and here's what happens if I start the car. Okay, car started. Now when I try to telescope it out, watch what happens. Okay. Oh, turn the radio off. So now it's telescoped all the way out, and I'm going to try to start it while it's telescoped all the way out. Watch what happens. Nothing. So now I telescope it all the way back in. Lock it. And as you can see, it starts up again. Okay, the next issue I'm having is with the Truma. What's happening is I get error code E212H, and it's preceded briefly by E112H, and it comes up on the Truma system when you attempt to use propane to power the water heater. Now, right now for this video, I do have the propane valve turned off because I don't know if there's some kind of a safety problem going on. But when the code happened, the propane valve was on and the propane is full. And the water heater works perfectly if you switch it to the electric element. Now, according to a forum post that I found online from April of 2019, this error code is associated with, quote, a gas pressure regulation fault. This poster in particular was able to resolve the issue, but it did require multiple trips to the service center. So on trip 1, the service center ended up ordering a gas valve and spark plug set. They replaced it, but the problem returned a few days later whenever the consumer got the vehicle back home. So he took it back to the dealer, and this time they changed the regulator and the hoses. When he went to pick up the RV, this time it was faulting again just right there in the parking lot of the service center. So this time, the service center removed the boiler and sent it to Truma, who said that it was a failed igniter block, and this appears to have been the culprit because as of the last message in the thread, the original poster is saying that he hasn't had the issue since. Next, I want to show a couple glitches I'm having, or issues that I don't know if there's anything they can do about it, but like, so this seal around the security locker is starting to peel back. It's like the glue or something. I don't know what's going on. It's like warping. And then this material here is starting to bubble up. I can push that down and it comes right back up. You can see that there. So I don't know. I mean, I'm sure that's related to being in West Texas heat, but it's just kind of a bummer that after only having it for a few weeks, we're already getting some material that's bubbling and some glue that's coming off. The next glitch I want to talk about has to do with the Volta system. So according to the manual, sometimes when you turn it off, it takes up to 2 minutes to fully shut down. So what we found was we got to a campground to test out all the systems. We hooked up to power, ran everything all night. The next morning when we woke up and disconnected, I would press and hold the power button down, and these systems over here would power off after a few seconds like normal. But the light was staying on. So I went through that a couple of times and the light was just simply on. It wouldn't go away. So I drove home from the campground, and the campground we were using to test things out was only about 15 to 20 minutes away from where we're currently staying. So I drove back to where we were staying and it was on that whole time. But as soon as I put it in park and then turned off the engine, then it magically just turned itself off. I'm not sure if it was just a coincidence that the engine had to be turned off before that would turn off, but that's just what happened. Hopefully it's just kind of a little glitch. It doesn't really hurt or affect anything, but I wanted to mention it just in case. And then the final glitch that I want to report has to do with the auto high idle start function to turn on the second alternator to charge up the Volta system. So according to the manual, there's a couple different ways to activate this. The issue I'm having has to do with the stealth start function. So according to the manual and some videos I watched, what you have to do is engage the parking brake. So I'm gonna do that right now just to kind of demonstrate this. So you engage the parking brake. Next, you turn the vehicle to accessory. Then you're supposed to press and hold this for about 2 seconds until it turns red, let go, and then take the key out. That's supposed to arm the system. And then once the system is armed, you can come back in and press this 3 times to initiate an on-demand charge to go ahead and, tell it to go ahead and fire up and start charging the battery. But what's happening is as soon as I arm it, it'll just go ahead and kick on. It doesn't wait for me to tell it to do the on-demand. It's like simply arming it will make it start. Even though the battery doesn't need to be charged yet. Like it says it's not supposed to kick on until the battery's at about 20%. But right now my battery is, let me just demonstrate this. As you can see, my battery is close to 70% right now. So let's see what happens. So again, let's check. Parking brake is engaged. Going to accessory mode. Press and hold until the red light comes on, or about 2 seconds. Okay. Now I'm supposed to remove the key. So as you heard, it actually started even before I had the key removed. And I don't think that's right. I think this is just supposed to arm the system, and then to initiate the on-demand, you're supposed to press it 3 times. But it's just skipping that step and just going ahead and starting. So I don't know if that's a safety issue or what, but I just wanted to report it and document it in here so it can be looked at in case it is. All right, so that's the basic gist of what's going on problems-wise. As far as our overall 3-week impression, just a quick word about that. We both love this van. It's very comfortable to sleep in. It's very comfortable to camp in. The shower worked great. The toilet is great. There's plenty of storage in here for us. The microwave worked fine. All of the plumbing seems to be good. The electrical's good. There was one time that I had the AC running on high, plus I was cooking something in the convection oven that took about 25 minutes, and I was watching TV and doing some work on my laptop, and the power system handled all that fine. There was one day where Danielle was on base for about 14 hours, and I was just kind of hanging out in here doing work and watching movies and stuff, running the AC, and the power system held up great. I did initiate one charge from the second alternator on high idle, but it was able to run everything, and I had no problems at all, and I was very comfortable in here. So overall, the van gets a thumbs up. I hope that we can just get these couple of warranty issues fixed. There's some conventional wisdom that says hopefully you'll have most of your issues kind of early on. Kind of like when you buy a new house, you kind of like detect a lot of the early issues. Things that weren't quite finished or whatever, that bug out kind of early on in the process. And then hopefully once you get those things resolved, you don't have too many more problems into the future. But an RV is like a house, and so just like with the house, you've got upkeep, and you're going to have issues that'll happen from time to time. I'm just hoping that we can iron out these couple of larger things early on, and then we won't have too many big problems later on. And keep on enjoying this van. Okay guys, thanks for watching, and there'll be more videos coming. Thanks.